Hello, all Buick owners. If you have a problem with your climate control unit, for example that the fan doesn't work at all, or maybe it only works on high, or that either the AC button or the rear window defroster button is not working, or is working intermittently, or maybe none of these selections work, or maybe just one work, then it's probably not this unit that is bad, but instead it's this ignition harness. A lot of bundled cables that have gone bad, and it connects up here at the ignition key tumbler, and the part looks like this. I'm not sure what the exact name is, but ignition start harness or something, and it's about $100 today. This is 2019, so probably a bit more in the future. So what you need to do is remove this cover that is here, and this is the first cover that you remove. Some junk here, and then behind that cover is this metal extra cover behind, which you will need a something like this to unscrew. You go through here and undo 4 bolts, and I'm not sure what the size of that part is, but later on you will also have to remove this plastic cover that sits around this steering column. You need to remove the lower part and the upper part. The lower part is held by 2 screws with an Allen wrench socket. There's an Allen wrench there. And then to remove the top cover, this part, you have to unscrew a screw up here. Probably difficult to see right here, but nearby here, up here, is a screw, and it's not actually a screw, it's a star-shaped screw head, and that particular size is called E5. And then this unit here nearby the ignition tumbler, it has 2 screws, and they are called E4, and they are star-shaped, those heads. And then this part here sits on the cylinder of the ignition key tumbler. It's a bit difficult to move, but what you do is you just turn the unit so that the 2 cables sticking out gradually face the passenger seat, and you may have to put a small thin flat screwdriver in nearby and just fiddle around, but you do a turning motion, and then it comes off, and then you do the reverse turning motion. You first insert this little peg in a hole, the reverse doing, put the peg in the hole and then reverse it, slide it counterclockwise, and it will click into place. And then the ignition tumbler will have to be removed too. I believe it has to be removed. Yes, it has to be removed, otherwise you don't reach the screws to undo this unit. which is this unit, and you put the key in like normal, and then once this top cover is removed, you have to put a thin Allen wrench into a small hole on top of the cylinder where the ignition tumbler goes in. You put it in. I believe you might have to turn the key first forward a bit to run position, and then you push the tumbler in, the Allen wrench in, into the small hole, push down, and then you're able to pull the whole thing out. And once this unit comes out, that way you can unscrew this block underneath. And then when you put the ignition tumbler back in, you may have to adjust a plastic socket at the end of the well where the tumbler goes in. There's like it's like a giant rectangle slot that an ordinary kitchen knife fits into. You need to maybe put it in the knife and then adjust it, just turn it slightly so that the end of the tumbler slips right in easily. Otherwise you can't get the tumbler all the way into the seat, get seated on its own. And and this end here needs to be unscrewed by a bolt, I guess you call it. And the nut head, or is the bolt head? The bolt head is size 7mm. 7mm if you have a set like this. You have to stick it in here and unscrew it to get this whole end part out. Comes out down there, and it may seem difficult to a person who doesn't do this very often, like myself. It's a little bit intimidating, but if you do it with patience and maybe split it up over 2 days, it can be done. And then your not your ignition, but your climate control unit will work again like new. Okay, good luck with this project.